Cheers to you, world of YouTube. This is one of my mom's coasters that she makes that I sit things on. The quilts behind me, those she also made me. I'm very blessed, very grateful. Today, for this Christmas, I want to get straight into the goods, Joyriding the Universe, Volume 1. We're going to read chapter 2. Yesterday, I did read chapter 1, so please do check that out. This one is only 6 pages, so you definitely have time for it. And if you don't, ask yourself how you could make time for something that's going to ultimately help you up level, because that's what this is about. The grand gift and treasure of the body. These bodies are one of the grandest gifts and the grandest opportunities any of you will ever have. Originally, when you created this whole system of reality that you call the planet, you, as the apprenticing gods that you were, helped to design and create it. But you wouldn't walk with your creation. You couldn't touch it. So, in your own ideal, you wish to have an embodiment that you could actually walk, talk, and be part of the planet with. This initial embodiment was actually created before your present embodiments were. Anything that comes upon your plane or that comes into manifested physical reality of any form is always created in thought first. Back to your perpetual question of the chicken and the egg, which came first. In creation, it is always the finished product, desire, which comes first, and then you figure out how to make it. For example, with the rose, you didn't just put a bunch of cells together and a bunch of organic matter together and hope it came out to look like a rose. That is not what you did. The whole vision of a rose was there first. In other words, you, or the creator, felt desire, a creation, or a feeling, an ideal, but didn't know what to call it and didn't know what it was. The source formulated it, and in thought it became a rose, and in thought it became the finished product. Now that it was a finished product, it had to be created in cellular matter so that it could be physically manifested. This is how all things are created, whether it is your bodies, your planet, or anything else. If it is manifested physically, it is created from the same principle. You take the end ideal, and then you fill in the pieces. And that is what all of you are doing with your lives. The rose was embraced, accepted. When it was embraced, you gave it fragrance, you gave it touch, you gave it velvety petals, and you gave it thorns to protect itself. But these were all the ideals, desires. Then to move it from that, you had to accept it into the light, to be held into the light, so that it could then be put into a holographic imprint, be manifested. The possibilities, ideal, was in the thought. From there, it goes into the light to be put into a holographic imprint, and from there, the holographic imprint will begin to magnetize to its cellular and molecular structure to fill in the pieces of the hologram that was created from the light. At this point in time, you take the finished ideal, desire, into the light. Now you have a holographic imprint, space. From it, that cellular structure and molecular structure begins to fill in upon and pushes all the way down to the single cell. This is how all things are created. You have a single cell that is put into a medium to grow and become the rose, but it will also evolve. In other words, everything that the cell was as a finished product is now in the single cell. The single cell is so single in its consciousness and so single in its oneness that it doesn't even know what it will be yet. That is part of its mystery. It is part of its love for life. That is part of its growth, the ability to go from that single cell to see what it will become. Your bodies were the same way. When this planet and this whole system of reality was created, you wanted to be vehicles that were capable of holding the full-fledged God that you were. You were totally unlimited outside of this reality, and you still are. You only see yourselves as being limited by these bodies because you don't understand the precious cargo that they are. Glad to be with you. Your ideal was a physically manifested body that could actually hold a living God and do anything that the living God would want to do. One that would give you sensory perceptions outside of a physical embodiment. You have no sensory perceptions. You have a form of sight, but you do not have touch. You do not have smell. You do not have taste. And many of your other sensory perceptions without a manifested vehicle, a body. The ideal was now to give the God an embodiment that could touch the rose that it had created into existence. You took the body into the light to build a holographic imprint. The molecular structure started forming, and you took it down to the single cell. The single cell was then implanted into a system of reality that would allow it to grow and to evolve into a physical vehicle that would hold a full fledged 100% functioning God within it. As it did this, your embodiment started into an evolutionary process. The gods that you were and the sparks that you were already birthed and loved into existence previous to this. Now, the single cell was put into a medium called an evolutionary cycle. From there, it began to grow and evolve into a physical embodiment that could hold a living God. You are all at the interim stage of that. In other words, those embodiments are at a point where they are just now beginning to make an evolutionary cycle in their brain capacities and in the body capacity to be able to hold a living God totally and completely in them. But they are young. Look at these embodiments as young children. You don't punish a young child because it can't do what the adult does. Yet most of you do that with your bodies. These bodies are in an evolutionary cycle that is very, very beauteous and very loving. This experience with these bodies is the grandest experience any of you will have. But the bodies of the humanoid species are evolving. The light that you are is already mature. It knows all things, it is complete. But the two are trying to come together. In other words, the light that you are can see it as the end product, and so it gets very anxious. It wants these young bodies to hurry up and grow up and be able to hold it because it is excited for that. And so you are at a juncture. For quite a few thousand years on your planet now, the light that you are has been trying to inhabit these bodies and coax them to hurry up their evolutionary process. But all of your bodies upon this planet could be considered a child's body. It is like the 5-year-old child, and your light is a graduate student, and it wants to know this body and play with everything it can. These evolving bodies cannot do it yet. You are at a stage where you can change them and you can start altering them so that they can, but they are not complete in their own growth yet. Right now, they are at a point where more of your own light that you bring into them and that you expand and grow into them, the more you are facilitating the transition. Your evolutionary and biological bodies that you have all been dealing with are in puberty. They are in the place they are in the place where they are beginning to make the transition to where the entity that you are and the light that you are can fully begin to start living in them. Some days it works better than others, so to speak. You have some days where you can live closer to them and you have more joy. There is an excitement because you brought that excitement for life with you. The light entity that you are is as excited for this embodiment because it is going to be its own when it is done. It is going to be its vehicle for touching and for embracing. It is its grandest gift and it is excited. So, whenever the light that you are comes close to these bodies, it brings grand joy because of the excitement for it. But you get disconnected and stuck into your biological personalities. As you get stuck, you often forget the light that you are, and this is where you see the limitation. Then you see the body as a limitation. You see it as being in your way. You see it as slowing you down from everything you want to do. None of you were forced to take a body. You asked for them. And you didn't ask for them in order to be punished. You asked for them because they are a grand gift and a treasure. Within these bodies lie the mysteries of eons. Look within these bodies. The bodies have evolved from a singular cell. Since they have evolved from a singular cell, your cells within your bodies know everything your progenitors have ever thought. Your cells in your bodies have the knowledge of this whole universe. The cells in your bodies know how to build another universe just like this one. They know its secrets. One cell in your body holds the mysteries of the universe, its creation, and how to do it. One cell in your body holds that much information. If the entity light that you are can actually come together totally, 100% with this biological embodiment and the biological personality that you are having to deal with, you will bring the two worlds together totally and completely and end separation forever. But in the meantime, these biological bodies can't always hold the whole light that you are because they are still evolving. Your brain system is still a little primitive for it. It is evolving and it is growing. It is a beautiful creation, just the way it is right now, and that is why you wanted them. But it is evolving. You wanted to be so intricately part of them that each of you were willing to go into them before they were finished. You were willing to go into these bodies long before they were ever at a state of holding a full God, just because you wanted to get that close and to have that opportunity earlier on in the game. You are playing around in these biological embodiments, living in them, expressing in them, but you are also cursing them a lot. You are also very harsh and very hard on them. Most of you don't get after a baby or a child that can't do adult things. You realize the child is growing, is evolving, and one day it will be able to do adult things. Your biological bodies are the same way. And they are beautiful creations just the way they are. You came here because of the knowledge contained in them. The body that each of you is living in remembers the entire emotions of this whole planet. It has this feeling tone of the entire planet. Your bodies are a living testimony and a living history to this whole planet, and it is a treasure beyond your measurement. And that is why you came here. That is why eventually all of you will take one with you when you choose to leave this plane. But it is a matter of learning how to manipulate it here and learning how to live in it, with it, and love it while you are here. You are not totally limited. You are only limited because of your perception and because you believe yourselves to be limited. When you can move past that, these bodies will grow at light speed. You are on an evolutionary hill. It is like you are on the last leg of the uphill journey. And then once you get to the peak, it will all be downhill or smooth sailing after that. These bodies are totally changing. They are getting ready to make a species change. They're getting ready to make a break or shift in the entire genetic structure of the humanoid species. This is a very precious and beautiful time for these embodiments. Since this is where you are, it is also a trying time for many of you because the bodies are going through emotions. They are going through feeling tones they've never felt. They are experiencing their power. They are experiencing their limitations. They are experiencing all things at once. That is because they are learning to be all it is. When they are all it is, which means to be the source of the universe, which is what each of these bodies have the ability to be, you are going to experience everything. You are going to experience the ups and the downs. You are going to experience everything that has ever been created. You will personally experience all this, and it will be beauteous. If your personalities see everything as a struggle, then it is going to be a harsh time. It is one of the most beautiful times upon your planet, and it should be seen as such. So, tomorrow, the consciousness of the body is what we're going to read at 10:10 a.m. at the end of a workshop that I'm going to do that helps you understand why a standing and status is very different. One is in the private, one is in the public, and we need to really be clear about our own standing and stop statusing or sharing private statuses on many levels. I say at 4:44 on Christmas Day, my gift to you. Please let us stop acknowledging whether we have chosen whether we have chose to alter our RNA or not. We ultimately need to band together and stop sharing our private medical statuses, because if we share the status, then we could be deemed an OPCA litigant if we were using a common law argument to defend ourselves, or if we wanted to do something that was alternative. It's like we got to go it alone, and it's really scary, but one matters. Every single one matters. So I appreciate you tuning in today. I look forward to coming tomorrow with you for that workshop at 10 a.m. I'm thinking it'll probably be about an hour. So if you want to bring your notepad and a hot beverage so that you can hang out and we can really just be real, it would be wonderful to hear what feelings are coming up after whatever your Christmas day was this year. I have to say, my papa and I were here at the house and I cooked. Wow. I've never done it like this before. I made myself a little seafood dish because I love it and it was delicious. I made Papa a roast pork because spiral ham, that's what he wanted. I roasted up 2 squash from my friend, plus garlic, onion, and ginger. Ginger with those 2? Interesting. I would definitely recommend trying that one. And then also I made 3 cakes, red velvet cakes, and even did icing and layers. I've never done that probably in my life. What's come over me? Ah, so much. Um, but yeah, so I even made Rice Krispie Squares with Cheerios because there were 2 bags towards the end, and it was awesome to clear those up. So that was a large part of my afternoon, and Papa didn't get up till 10 o'clock, which is later than usual. But um, yeah, I got all the laundry done. So it's just like, whoa, I just rocked it. And I'm pretty proud of myself. And I wonder if you maybe have a similar experience or story because you've been hauling and hustling and you've made it through the holidays and you're doing well. I'm curious. I've got some cards. I got 2 decks together. Sacred Traveler Oracle cards by Denise Lynn, and then also Earth Magic by Stephen Farmer, which is Denise. No, what's her name? Dolores. No, Doreen Virtue. That was her ex, Stephen Farmer, I believe. I believe in a thing called love. Communion, eagle eyes. Take some time and sit there to get answers for yourself. I see one of the cards. Nurturing Gaia, it is true that you could be the one to see through the fog of veiled illusions. Protected by angels, you are cherished by the angels. The new moon promise, it's true, you're protected. It's about perspective, it's to the Milky Way, volatility, the volcano. Don't you know to have some fun? Ancestors, generations, Journey by moonlight, believe in magic. Yes, you can. Taking shelter, the answers are within. Reflection, winter solstice, shaman, ancient healing wisdom card. Oh my, infinite abundance pouring into your life. Don't you know, overcoming obstacles, you can overcome anything if you try. Crossing bridges, it's time for healing and connecting, mending and releasing too. Navigating by the stars, follow your bliss. I look forward to going over the alchemist again. It is true, we must follow our bliss. Cleanse the waters, purification activates vibrant life force inside of you. Activation, let the wind come and wake up your heart. Go on a vision quest inside yourself, the desert times in life. A breakthrough is at hand, breaking trail, mountain strengths. Or what it's about, climb the mountain of awareness. Narrow pathways, tread thoughtfully, I'd say. Stone people, vigilance, ways leader, you are a beacon for others. You must clear the air, distant thunder there, staying focused here. Oh, hold the course, keep doing what you are. Embrace enthusiasm, shout to the heavens with happiness. Vast vistas expand your horizon, drop the walls on the boxes of belief that have kept us feeling safely separate from each other, which is what we will do tomorrow at 10 a.m. Wandering path, enjoy the journey, and that's where we will find the joy. Riding is Joy. The journey is where we start to see the journey has joy at the beginning and the end. And if we take it out, all we're left with is an urn. What's an urn? It takes away the body and the reputation we had before we traded it all for a new beginning. It's the dawn, finding sanctuary, opening to your spiritual source, the kingdom inside of you. First light, beginning a new cycle. 2 cards back to back from 2 different decks. It's time to release what will not let you get here, because it's calling you, my friend. Purification, let it go. Call the water to let you go deeper into you, fellow travelers. Support is all around you. I send you love and say, valiant courage, take action with passion, enthusiasm. Authenticity, clarity, and encouragement is when the rainbow blessings come in. Rainbow is the color I will use if ever I need to be radiant. Summer solstice, watching clouds lie back, rest, relax. Mystic healer, you must flow through you. Let it be. Surrender to the journey. Release control, dream time, creation. That's the end of my reading. I listen to my instincts, you know. Send your love, though. Have a great day, Lord, day. Happy Christmas to you, and I say Namaste. Now I go.